The talking drums of Ugele thundered across the red earth, singing of a warrior whose name made enemy villages empty at her approach. Nkem the Unbroken. From the time she could carry a spear, she fought with the fury of Amadioha's thunder. No man could best her in combat, no enemy could survive her wrath. The Dibia said she was born with Obogu's mark on her shoulder, the sign of a warrior destined never to fall. But even the mightiest Iroko tree can be felled by the right storm. For 3 generations, the people of Ugele and Uduma had been locked in a bitter feud. It began when warriors from Uduma raided Ugele's yam bands during the hungry season. Ugele retaliated by burning Uduma's secret totems. Now, the latest skirmish had turned to full war. Ugele's warriors, led by their champion Nkem the Unbroken, had pushed deep into Uduma territory. Their mission? Capture Prince Umweze, heir to Oduma's throne, and force his father's surrender. Dawn painted the battlefield in shades of blood and dust. Nkem wiped sweat from her brow, her spear sleek with enemy blood. Across the river, she spotted him, Prince Umweze of Oduma, standing tall amidst his fallen warriors. "Take him alive," Nkem ordered. The prince fought like a leopard cornered by hunters. 3 Ugele warriors lay bleeding before Nkem finally knocked his sword away, pressing her blade to his throat. "Your war ends today, Prince," Nkem growled. Umweze spat blood at her feet. "My people don't surrender." By tradition, royal prisoners were paraded before Ugele's king, then executed at the sacred oak. But as Nkem dragged Umweze through the village gates, something stayed her hand. "Lock him in the hunter's hut by the stream," she ordered her warriors. "I'll question him myself." That night, when Nkem came to interrogate him, she found Umweze not cowering, but standing proud despite his bonds. "You waste your time, Unbroken," he said. "I will tell you nothing." Nkem studied his unbroken spirit. For the first time, she hesitated. Weeks passed, and Nkem returned each night bringing food instead of questions. He spoke of Oduma, their legendary hunters who could track a bush rat by moonlight. She spoke of Ugele, their women who danced with fire during the New Yam festival. One evening, as she tended his wounds, Umweze caught her wrist. "Why keep me alive?" he asked, his calloused fingers warm against her skin. Nkem pulled away too quickly. "A dead prince can't negotiate peace." "Liar," Umweze whispered. And in her heart, Nkem knew he was right. From that day, Umweze and Nkem shared a love so deep that even the depths of the earth could not measure up. Such a love was a taboo, an abomination, so they held on to this secret with their lives. But nature has her way of revealing the hidden. On the night when the moon turned the color of freshly spilled blood, Nkem found Umweze standing at the stream's edge, watching crimson reflections ripple. In Oduma, he said, "We say a blood moon means the ancestors are angry, that they demand sacrifice." She came to stand beside him, close enough to feel his heat. In Ugele, we say it means the earth itself is wounded, that it bleeds for our sins. He turned, his face inches from hers. What sin could be so great, Nkem? What could make the land itself weep blood? Before she could answer, a woman's scream tore through the village. The first sign was at the village stream where women fetched water. A mother filling her pot screamed as the clear water turned thick and red before her eyes. Then the rains came, not life-giving water, but blood that stained clothing and rooftops. Panic spread like bushfire in Hamatan. The Dibia locked themselves in the sacred grove, throwing cowries and seeking answers. When Nkem was summoned before Eze Ugeli, the royal heart stank of fear. "This is no ordinary affliction," the head Dibia croaked. "Someone has broken covenant with the land itself." Nkem's Obogu mark burned like fire. The truth came in a vision. The chief Dibia awoke screaming, his eyes white with sight. "A daughter of Ugele lies with the leopard of Oduma. The land rejects their union." Nkem was preparing to flee with Nweze when the Eze's guards burst in. Dragged before the village square, Nweze's royal tattoos were exposed for all to see. The crowd erupted like scared bees. "Taboo! Traitor!" The Eze's voice cracked like thunder. "By the laws of our fathers, you are cast out to the evil forest. May Chukwu judge you, for your people cannot." The evil forest lived up to its name. Trees grew thorns like claws, shadows whispered in voices not human. The air itself tasted of rotten promises. Nweze pressed close as something rustled in the undergrowth. "If we die here, we won't," Nkem snapped. But her arm spear shook for the first time in her life. That night, as they sheltered under a dying Udala tree, something watched them from the dark. Not animal, not spirit, something older. Nkem Nweze breathed. "Don't move." Hot breath grazed her neck. Just as the creature lunged, light exploded. Allah, the Earth Mother, appeared before them, her form shifting between beautiful maiden and rotten corpse. "Why do you defile my forest?" Her voice was the cracking of dry earth. Nkem prostrated fully in the dirt. "Great Mother, we were cast out for loving where we should have hated." Allah's laughter made the trees shudder. "Love? Or rebellion?" Nweze stepped forward. "Does motive matter when our people suffer? Punish us, but lift the curse from them." The goddess stilled. "At last, a prince who speaks like a true leader." Allah pressed a burning hand to their foreheads. Visions exploded behind their eyes. Nkem and Nweze sitting together in a single stool of authority. Children of Ugele and Oduma chasing each other through once bloodied fields. One great Obi built where the war camp once stood. "The curse was never for love," Allah whispered, "but for stubbornness. Go, heal what your fathers broke." When they emerged from the forest, the people gasped. The streams ran clear, the rains fell pure. The chief Dibia, trembling, touched his staff to the earth. "Allah has spoken. Their union is blessed." In the greatest ceremony in the 9 villages had ever seen, Nkem and Nweze were joined beneath the sacred orji tree. That day, 2 clans became one, and the Obronkun's legend grew, not as a warrior who fell, but as the queen who united. Years later, when children asked about the peace between Ugele and Oduma, the elders would tell of the warrior and the prince who turned blood into brotherhood. And in the royal compound, under the same blood moon, where they had once stood as enemies, Nweze would kiss his queen's battle-scarred hands and whisper, "Who knew the Unbroken's greatest victory wouldn't be won with a spear, but with a heart?"